Hello, my name is Jillian Williams, NATA's Conference and Events Manager. In honor of Black History Month and in recognition of dynamic organizations that are working to advance careers and opportunities for aviators of color, I am pleased to welcome Tanya Austin, Operations Manager of the RedTail Flight Academy. Tanya, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me today, Jillian.
You are very welcome. Can you start off first by telling us a little bit about yourself and the mission of the RedTail Flight Academy?
Absolutely. About myself, I came from an underserved community. I had never gone on a flight until I was 18 and could afford to do it, on my own. That sparked an interest in me. I would fly as often as I could and just go from Texas to Mexico, short trips. And eventually I was asked by someone at the airport if I would consider being crew. And I said, well, what's that? What's crew? And they said, well, would you consider being a flight attendant? I said, well, I don't know any Black flight attendants. No, I can't do that. And eventually I would go on to become a flight attendant. I had an injury unrelated to work, and I had some time to think during that time while I was a flight attendant. And being in aviation, being a flight attendant, that was after the injury. I was told that I wouldn't be able to do these international flights, standing up all the time. And after a lot of encouragement and a lot of thinking about it, I decided that I was going to become a pilot. So from there, I have started to volunteer for several organizations, and I've worked at an FBO. I've worked for other regional airlines, and even partnered with someone to buy an aircraft just to pay for my own training. And I was out in West Texas building time to further my aviation career when someone called me and said, there is an academy that's opening in New York, and you are the person that would be such a perfect fit for this. And I said, no, I just want to fly. I don't want to do anything except for fly. And then I talked to the leadership at the RedTail Flight Academy, and they told me, what they were doing. I knew about the Tuskegee Airmen, but I had never been involved with an organization that was actually starting an academy modeled after the Tuskegee Airmen that were helping young male and female of color to try to get to the next level in aviation. Once I talked to the leadership, I decided it was definitely for me. So what the RedTail Flight Academy does, once again, it is modeled after the Tuskegee Airmen. It is here to honor the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen and also to continue their mission. The RedTail Flight Academy has a dynamic program that will allow people of color with little to no means actually come here on a scholarship and be able to start training from zero time all the way to commercial and further. We have students here that from our inaugural class that came with 1 hour in their logbook. 10 months later, when they left, they could fly commercially and a multi-engine aircraft.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is truly amazing. Well, last year, I hear that the RedTail Flight Academy reached a milestone with its first graduating class. How did you feel about that, and how did the students feel?
I was very emotional about it. I felt that it was an amazing feat, watching them literally over that 10-month period, watching their struggles, watching triumphs, watching failures, being away from family. There are all sorts of emotions that come to mind. But when I think about the students, if I could actually speak for them, they were overwhelmed. They literally could not believe what they had done, even though they were there for the story. Some of them cried, some of them shouted. They were very excited, and they promised that because of the help that they received here, that they would move forward and they would help others.
I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely just love that. As a result of all of their hard work and dedication, what doors and opportunities have opened up for them as a result of them graduating?
Well, every student that came here from the inaugural class has gone on to industry. Some of them are working with companies. I don't know if I could say the name of them, but they're out on social media, so if that's okay, I'll mention. Some of them are flying Falcon 50 EX and Falcon 900 EX for flight safety, second in command program. Some of them are working with Baldwin Aviation. We have one of them that is out at American Express working in their corporate aviation arm. And we have some that are actually instructing. The majority of the ones that I just spoke about, they are instructing and working at industry.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's a good transition. So, well, what ways can they actually continue to support the Academy beyond graduation?
Well, they can support the Academy we have some of them that actually, they train here. They instruct the next set of students. And then we have one that is actually, she is over in a part of the organization where we mentor second to seventh graders, where we have middle school students as the cap there. But we offer training to them as well. We also have a Monday night program, and the students can come back and volunteer and teach, at that class as well. We have 53 Tuskegee Airmen chapters nationally. Those students could actually move forward and volunteer at their home organizations as well. There are many ways that they could give back.
Okay. And I know you're mentioning the Tuskegee Airmen a lot. As the Academy continues to promote their legacy, what messages resonate the most about their barrier-breaking history and achievements as you're recruiting aspiring African-American aviators?
Well, I think just for me personally, everybody would have their version because these were amazing, larger than life people, although they were very humble. I would say never give up and give it your best. These are the things that the Tuskegee Airmen did. They never gave up. They were given subpar aircraft. They were even at some point being trained by people that did not want to see them, prevail. They didn't give up. They didn't leave anyone behind. They had teamwork. That's another thing that I would say, the airmen, they never left one of their men behind or women. That's what I would say. Just give it your best. And excellence is the best answer for someone that either doesn't believe in you or is not supporting you.
Coach you on that. That's a perfect statement. What do you think some of the greatest barriers to aviation are for members of underrepresented communities? And how does the RedTail Flight Academy address those?
Well, I think that visibility is one thing. Even years ago, when they would see me in the airport every week and they asked me if I would be crew, I had no idea what they were talking about. I didn't see any people of color working in the airport, working on the planes, flying the planes. So visibility is one thing. Another thing is access. Even if you've seen someone, maybe you went on a trip and you saw a pilot that looked like you don't necessarily have access. Where do I start? Another big barrier is money. It is extremely expensive to train. And that could be whether you want to be a mechanic, a pilot, even working on the corporate end. There are several certifications that are required on top of your education that you received in school. That is, it's very expensive. So those are the main barriers.
Okay. I know previously in a NATA Aviation Business Journal article, you said that diversity, equity, and inclusion matter. Can you tell me more about your thoughts on how DEI can help address the industry's workforce shortage?
Absolutely. Being a female and a person of color myself, I'd like to think that diversity, equity, and inclusion means more than just having a token, if you will. Everyone should be represented. Your workforce should look like the people that you are serving. There's so many different things that we could look at. As African American, we have, I think it's $1.4 trillion in spending power. Companies can really benefit from opening their doors to people that look like us. That's just one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is to look at what the airmen did. The airmen were literally born out of a necessity. There was a pilot shortage and there were no other choices. So a lot of people really don't know that. Based on the need, finally, and something that happened with the First Lady, Eleanor Roosevelt, deciding to take a flight with Chief Anderson, go, oh, wow, well, they may be okay, because historically they were told that they were cowards, they were subpar, many things. These were in the military reports. Okay, so let's look at how they were treated and then what happened when they actually took a chance on the Tuskegee Airmen. Okay, so when you allow diversity and equity and inclusion in, there are more things than a head count or having more people of color. You're turning your back on someone that could literally take you to the next level, not because they're Black, but because they are really skilled. Just give them an opportunity. Not just Black, people of color, and women.
Okay. What steps do you think aviation businesses can take to ensure and foster a DEI-focused culture?
I think that companies, if they want to foster a better relationship, they should do community outreach. Obviously, there are things that you could do like social media, go to community centers, be involved in the local church activities. Yes, those are grassroots things, but you can actually have someone that looks like the people that you're trying to represent actually guide you and coach you on what you need to do to break down these barriers, open the line of communications, and start to invite people of color and women into your workforce.
All right, Tanya, it has been a pleasure talking to you. And I just have one more question before we wrap up. With all that you've done and all that you're continuing to do, there are just still so many minorities that aren't aware that aviation is even an option. How do you expand your reach in continuing to diversify the skies and just shed light on opportunities and resources that are already available?
Well, what I do is, like I said, I volunteer a lot. Okay. So I work with, obviously, the Tuskegee Airmen group. I work with Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals and Black Pilots of America, Sisters of the Skies. I'm involved in all of these groups. Usually when I go out, if I'm not having to go to a dinner or somewhere where you have to dress professionally, I have on something that says Tuskegee Airman, or a t-shirt that says, no, I'm the pilot, or a lot of different things to spark conversations. And when people see that, that starts to engage them. And I just try to tell as many people as I can. I do contribute with New York Metropolitan Airport News. I write short stories and I try to get that information out there as well. And obviously, we do a lot here at the Academy. We do from summer camps, to open houses, to interviews like these, things like that. We try to get the word out as much as we can.
Okay. And if people wanted to know more about RedTail Flight Academy, how would they be able to reach you? How would they be able to just find out more about what you guys do?
Well, you could go to redtailflightacademy.org. If you go to that website, you will get everything from a history about the airmen. You will have our mission and goals. You will have information about how you can join our fight to help to diversify the sky. There are scholarship opportunities. The window is open right now. You can find that information out. And to reach me, you could reach me at tanya.austin@tai-ny.org. That is my email. And my phone number is 347-721-6199. You can call me. You can email me. You could go to the website. And we'll be happy to take all your calls, emails, and even come by and see us anytime.
Tanya, thank you so much. I really enjoyed your perspective, your insight, the interview. It's just been a joy, and I just thank you for taking the time to speak with me today.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having us. And the sky belongs to no one. So I take that. That is from Betsy Coleman. Okay.
I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
You too.